a former PCS officer and a present IAS officer with all India rank 4. A son of a teacher couple of Government School of Sangrur never let his disability of polio to strike him. Sir is an electrical engineer with BE degree holder and started his work as SPO in Punjab State Electricity Board. Sir served in PCS Aided Services as Food and Supplies Officer in 2003. As Sir says, I did not have high ambitions earlier. It was only after I got into PCS that I started setting higher goals for myself. So, with these words, let us begin with our interview and ask Sir about his journey. Sir, shall we?
Yes, sure. You are welcome.
Sir, first of all, kindly tell us the name of your school and your higher education.
Actually, my father was a government school teacher. My mother also was a primary school teacher in the government school. So wherever they were posted, I got a chance to study in many schools. To start with my primary education, it was the government primary school in Patiala district. The town is called Kannauр. Then after that, after class 6, during class 6, I took admission in government middle school Kamini Kala, which was only up to 8th. It was the school where my father was teaching. So after that, I did my 9th from Government High School Lachru. This is another village about 10 kilometers from Kannauр in Patiala district. After that, the conditions were not very good in Punjab at that time. It was the year 88 or 87, if I remember correctly. Then I did my matriculation in Ambala. It was SC Jain High School, Ambala city. Plus 1 and plus 2 I again did from SC Jain College, Ambala city. And after a competitive examination, I took admission in my BE electrical degree in Punjab Engineering College, Chandigarh. So that's all. I am simply a graduate. No more degrees after that, and then I came to service.
Okay, thank you, sir. That is so great to know.
Thank you very much.
So you have been able to manage the
Pandemic.
pandemic. Like you have been able to manage the entire country during the pandemic very well. Can you please guide us how do you multitask so well?
But a very good question. But actually, the exam of the IAS is like that. They make you multitask at the time of elimination. Lot many subjects are there, lot of GK is there, and you have to manage yourself well. Only those who can manage themselves well, they are able to get through the exam. That is the first part. The second part is anybody, whatever may be, he is a halwai, maybe milkman, or any household working woman, anybody, all of us are multitasking. You also are multitasking. You have many subjects. In the morning you have to get up, then you have to get ready, then you have to do your daily chores, then you have to come to school. Lot of work is there. But how do you manage it? You specify a time for everything. Like in your school also, you have many periods for 8 or 9 periods really you have, then you have a break also. So then you divide in which month you will have exams, when you have short-term exams, when you have the final exams. The same way in the government also we plan. Some things come unplanned also. But there are many things to be done. The normal administration is also there. The law and order, revenue administration, and the services which are given to the citizens. The kind of situation which we had in the pandemic, it was a special situation in which many things had to be done. First was law and order, that is enforcing the lockdown, because initially government decided that nobody should be allowed to roam freely. Then after that there was a problem of livelihood and the food for the people. Then we had to, because people lost their livelihood and salaries, then we had to arrange for their food. It was arranged through government agencies also as well as NGOs also. Then the migrant workers, I am telling you the main things. And after that there were many migrant workers who started going to their own homes on their own without proper bus or train arrangements. It was very humanitarian problem. It was a very serious problem. Then we had to arrange for that also. Then on the later stage, the vaccination also came. And last but not the least, the actual problem that people who fell sick, they needed beds, medication, and other things. For that we had to arrange beds. It was not only in government sector but also in the private sector. It was Ludhiana being the hub of the medical facilities. Whole of Punjab and this region was looking towards Ludhiana. It was hell of a task, but our team was able to do it. One more thing, I must tell you, if you want to be successful in life, be a team player. So it is not the DC who does the multitasking. I have a big team. I have 5 ADCs working under me, additional deputy commissioners. I have 7 SDMs and other officers in various departments. So I planned it in such a way that each officer was made nodal officer for one of these programs, because these were running parallelly. And one officer was dedicated to have the helpline and the control room also. So multitasking was made possible by the team. I just told them and divided the areas that you have to work for this area. One officer was nodal for vaccination, one officer was nodal for food, one officer was nodal for the hospital beds. Another zonal licensing authority of the drugs, it was responsible for arrangement of drugs and various medicines. And there were other various tasks which had to be done, like sampling teams also had to go. There the role of civil surgeon and paramedics and various NGOs. Then we had to go to every nook and corner, vaccination, Har Ghar Dwar. So that is another program that we had to reach out to people to convince them to go for vaccination, because initially there was a lot of innovation. I gave a very long answer, but what I need to say you, if you want to be successful in life, be whatever career you are, IS is just one of them. Even if you are a good player or you are a good businessman or you are a good principal, you have to be a team leader, you have to divide the work. The only mantra for the good management is not only the good management about your time yourself, but how to divide the work among the team and how to take them along, how to motivate them. Last but not the least, you can do all these things only when you have good health. So every day devote some time to some sport, walk, whatever you like. So keep yourself healthy, have healthy food, vitamins, supplements, or veg, non-veg, whatever is your liking or whatever is cooked at your home. Have variety of foods. Only when you are healthy, then you will be able to manage your day well.
Thank you.
Hi.
Sir, as we see, since both of your parents were
Teachers.
educators in government schools, so who do you think inspired you more?
Who inspired me more?
Yes.
Definitely it was my mother, but no doubt the family is like a chariot, and your mother and father both are the wheels who drive it. Maybe my father was very much busy in earning the livelihood. He was also teaching me mathematics and English, but the real foundation for my study habits and my addiction to books and my so well conversation with the Punjabi language, my mother tongue. It was only because of my mother. She was a primary school teacher. Whenever vacations were there, she made it a point that she will bring a lot of books from that library. It was a very, very small library in the form of an almirah, and sometimes I will go to her school with her. So inspired me a lot to read, and maybe it was the reading habit and the vocabulary which I picked up from those books, which gave me all success. One more mantra to you all, that you should be very good at language. Whatever language, your mother tongue or English, French, whatever you want to learn. Be whatever the profession, you want to be advocate, you want to be a good vegetable seller, you want to be a good halwai, you want to be a good entrepreneur, you want to be a good principal or a teacher. The one common thread which every job has, it is being a good communicator. So that can only come with lot of reading habits. Do lot of journal reading. Your syllabus is sacrosanct that you have to do to score well. But at the same time, you should read good books. It may be story books, it may be novels, but read good quality material, not the stuff which is all around on internet or everything. So good and bad things are there, but you should at least read the good, whatever genre you like, the good writers, maybe the classics, it may be Shakespeare, or my children, a lot of books on the mystery they are reading these days. So I don't even remember the names, but they are very good at English reading. So I was very good at Punjabi. So that's all. My mother was the one who introduced me to this reading and which ultimately paved the way for my success.
Yes, sir, that's really divine of her.
Yeah, but
So-
unfortunately she is no more. But you should really value your parents because once they are around at that time, you at your tender age, it is too difficult to understand. But they are the ones who sacrifice everything, and your teachers also. But your parents are one who will always work for your welfare. So whatever they are saying, we should follow them.
So, to be an IAS, was it your passion or decision to be the one, or it
Yes.
was forced upon you?
It was not really forced upon me because I took this decision at a very late stage in my life. It was at the age of 34 that with my experience in life, though my mother used to tell me that you can go for competitive exams, but immediately after my degree, I chose to take the easiest path. It was to go for a technical job. I immediately after clearing my degree, I appeared for the competitive exam and I cleared it. I joined as a technocrat in Punjab State Electricity Board, then worked in thermal plant. But suddenly after 3-4 years, I realized that though it's the technocrats only who make this world so good, you can see that light coming up. It is only through the electricity board. But the job was very, very monotonous. Every day I'll go to thermal plant and I'll be doing the same job and I'll not get a chance to actually interact with the end users. Then I decided to come for a job in which I get a chance to interact with the public directly. That was the Punjab Civil Services. Then when I joined that job, maybe it was my little knowledge only, then I saw that there is some higher pedestal also. Though through PCS also you can get promoted to IS. But if you directly come to IS, then you have more, then you start at a higher level. Then you get advantage of another 15-20 years. Then you directly start as IAS. Then you don't have to wait to get into IAS. Then you can even occupy even higher chairs and do more good for the society. Then I decided to take a plunge for this exam. So at that age I was already married, having 2 daughters. So it was nobody's pressure, but it was my own volition and my own motivation from inside to serve the society and to get a better position and more respect from me in the society. That is why I decided to go for IAS. But one thing more for you, that whatever you decide, that your parents and your teachers, they are the guide. You should listen to them, and after listening to them, you should also see what your internal actual caliber is. Then you should decide. You should not work under anybody's force or pressure just to go for any profession. You should take your own call, but nonetheless, you should not ignore whatever is being advised by your parents and teachers, because they are the best guide, and with their life experience, they have a lot more things to share. Then after taking all those viewpoints, first listen to them, then you decide what is to be done. And in my case also, it was my decision. It was not forced by anybody upon me.
That's really great, sir.
Sir, in 1998, when you could not make it to PCS examination, did it dismay you, or you took it as a turning point or stepping stone?
Yeah, it was very, very disappointing at the first. Like any other human being, I am no superhuman being. Like you also, when somebody fails or gets inferior marks, you feel so bad about it. It was the marriage day of my sister. She had to be married next day. The morning newspaper, when I was the first one, I was a very avid newspaper reader also. I was the first one in the morning, with the morning cup of tea, I'll read the newspaper. I just went to the main door of the house, I saw the newspaper, and when I read, I was very excited, but I couldn't find my roll number there. So I was very disappointed. I did not want to act as a spoil sport for whole of the family. So I did not disclose it to anybody. I was unmarried at that time. I got married in 1999. So I just hid it somewhere. So for many days my parents were not knowing that I had failed. But I was already in job, but it was disappointing. But later on, it came out that it was kind of a scam. If you go on internet and study what happened with that PCS exam, there was a lot of controversy around it. There was some hanky-panky done, and then it was reconducted. When it was reconducted, then I got a chance to reappear into the same exam, and then I was selected into that exam, because in the earlier exam I was given very less marks into interview for obvious reasons, which is now in public domain. So you should go back and search that what all bad happened in that examination.
That's
So any disappointment or any failure is no final. So whatever you read like King Bruce, though it seems very very theoretical, but these are the proverbial truths, and whatever comes in the folk tales, this is the ultimate truth, that whatever knowledge we gain from there, it is for your good only. So the good message coming from the story of King Bruce, that keep on trying again and again, be whatever the field. So ultimately success will be yours.
really eye-opening, sir. Thanks for the message too.
हाँ अमित हाँ जी डियर आई एम बिजी विद सम स्टूडेंट्स मैं जैसे ही फ्री होता हूँ आई लेट यू नो ठीक है तब तक आप अपना काम कर लो ठीक है हाँ जी
Sir, you have a very pleasing personality. We guess you have some ideals. Can you please tell if you have some ideals beside your parents?
Lot many. Actually, end of the day, you cannot copy anyone. It is something innate and which comes out of your upbringing. But at the same time, there is always a scope for improvement. There is always a scope for improvement. When you interact with other persons, see what good you want to see in others. So there may be many. I like many personalities. These may be my teachers also. These may be my senior officers also. My training DC also. He was very cool and calm. But I take inspiration from the history also. I like the personality of Akbar and Nehru. Akbar was also a very very liberal man, and in those days he got the tag of the great Akbar only because he was an inclusive man. He could take so many people along, and he spread his empire like anything. Same way, Nehru took the thread from the very beginning for such a vulnerable nation which could have gone into parts, though Sardar Patel was also helping him. But the way it was implemented and the way institutions were built, and the way he was a man of letters, the way he read, wrote, everything. His book, The Discovery of India, it's a great book if you read. So I take inspiration from all of them. And even now, day-to-day life also, like Buddha also I find so great. Even your contemporary, so many successful businessmen are also there. So from everybody you can learn so much. So Elon Musk to anybody. So many people working in so many diverse fields. So you should take inspiration from all, but you should not copy anyone. Like any cell in our body is unique. It has a unique DNA. Same way we are different, and everybody becomes a leader because whenever he goes for his own qualities and just make them more and more better and shiny. So keep on improving, be good to others, and just think that how others would expect you to be. Only then you will be able to empathize. How do you expect them to behave with yourself? So that will make you a better person. And I think being a better person is more important than success. Success will also come. Success and popularity will come only when you are a good person and doing good to others. But that doesn't mean that you are a saint or you are not doing good for yourself. After all, you have to work for your family and yourself only. But at the same time, we have to do good to others. But to whatever extent we can be without damaging our own interests. That is another mantra for success.
So who's dressing up style you copy? None from Bollywood?
I like film songs, I like movies also, I like Bollywood movies, Hollywood movies because of my children, because now they keep on watching on this thing, Netflix, etc. And then they choose certain movies for me though these are only up to 16 plus. No, these are only up to 16. My elder daughter is 16. But whatever they choose, I see, I watch those movies and I like many of them. And during my college days, even I told my own daughters, during college days, not school days, I did not miss even a single movie. So one has to be multifaceted. So enjoy also. I like Bollywood songs, especially from 60s to 90s. And Mohammed Rafi, Lata Mangeshkar, these are my favorite girls. I like Sufi songs also, Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan also. So these are my favorite singers. So there are many actors also, ma'am. As you like,
Such a
I
wonderful
also like
dressing
Shah Rukh
style.
Khan, or maybe you may be liking someone from the youngsters also. So I also watch movies, but I don't remember the names of the new actors because I remain very busy these days. Very less time I get. But during my college days, I didn't miss even a single movie.
So you are now an administrator serving to eradicate various evils from the society. Would you like to share some experiences when you faced challenges and how did you combat it?
Yeah, there are many disparities in our society. There are sections which are not able to even earn their livelihood to make both ends meet. And then there are some billionaires also. Then there is problem of a lot of ignorance also. So when there is ignorance, this is a vicious cycle. I see many sections of society, they are poor because they are deprived of knowledge and other means to get how better education, how to earn better livelihood, then how to educate their next generation. This is a vicious cycle. If the one generation is poor, it will not be able to get good education. Then the second generation will also be poor because they will not be able to give them level playing field. So these disparities I find very handy in the society, and there are some infrastructural issues also. So because of that lack of infrastructure, sometimes because of the UMS and the car parks also, you may have seen the bad roads also. So these are the things. Maybe our nation is a developing nation. We have limited resources. Because of that, many times I find these problems when because of the population growth, the land holding is also reducing day by day. As a result, the per family earning in the rural areas, it is dwindling. And those are the reasons that I see lot of discontent in society and lot of agitations also. Maybe the resources are less. If somebody is well fed, well educated and given a job, there is zero probability that he or she will be on roads. But once we see that a lot of people are agitating, this is kind of a discontent because of the unemployment. So these are the problems which I find somewhere that we have solutions to, but it's a very long battle. Maybe the students like you, when they come onto my chair, by that time India will be a better country. But we are working towards that, and our welfare governments are also working towards that to make policies that how to take all sections of society along. But these disparities and especially the challenges to women and poor sections of society, and there is a lot of caste, religion differences also. Because of that also, all these things are throttling the good development of our society. But I think we are in the right direction, and in the coming days, nobody can stop India from becoming a developed country. I am optimistic about that.
Thank you so much.
So contemporary times are the times when youth is moving to foreign countries. Did this idea never fascinate you?
Not really, because it's a very good question. In the early 90s, when I was in college, it was the time of when Dr. Manmohan Singh was the finance minister, and P.V. Narasimha Rao was the chairman. He was the prime minister. So Dr. Manmohan Singh as finance minister, he brought the LPG, that is liberalization, privatization, and globalization. And internet also had come in those days. Initial years, these were the initial years of the internet. So a lot of youth, they were migrating to USA in those times. And so many were going to Australia also. It was the late 90s. So many students from my class almost 60 to 70%, they appeared for the exams, GRE or GMAT, and they decided to go for the foreign shores. But somehow this idea at that time did not really fascinate me. Maybe it was because of the upbringing in the villages, and I wanted to remain closer to my roots and my parents. But I am not averse to this idea of my children now going to foreign shores for education, because in a globalized world, when anything happening in America, New York, or Western Europe, or Central Asia, it is being direct telecast to you. You can watch everything on internet, and you are being affected on whatever is happening in Japan or China. So what is the harm in taking the global education? So if you get a chance to get a global education, nothing bad in that. But at the same time, you should decide which place to you want to really settle for, because ultimately this earth is going to be a global village. This is a very small place. Distance is not actually in kilometers. It is in how many hours you can travel. In those days when I went for a college tour, it took almost 51 hours from Chandigarh to Trivandrum. But now if you want to go to say New York or Canada, it takes only 14 hours on a direct flight. UK you can go in 8 hours. So it is about distance and the resources and how you travel. And these mobile phones, internet, nothing was there. So times are changing. So nothing bad in going to other countries. But at the same time, if we can do something good for India sitting there, maybe in the form of technology sending back to your country, or culture you will be sending back to your country, or the money which you will be sending back to your country, that also helps. But yes, a lot of Punjabi people are going outside. It's a matter of concern, matter of little worry also, but at the same time there is other coin also. Had those all 10-20 lakhs youths been here in Punjab without any jobs, it would have been a great problem. Sometimes it is good to prune the tree to make it grow better, because then there is less competition for the rest of the people who are left back in Punjab, and they can grow here, and our Punjabi brethren and sisters who have gone abroad, they can also prosper there.
Yes,
Sir,
sir.
sorry, as an educationist, it's always bothering me, this brain drain. So, I mean, how do we motivate the children to stay back and work for the upliftment of our own economy?
Ma'am, it is times immemorial, like the animals. We are, after all, we are a socialized animal, but we are animals. Like animals, they always go to better pastures. Wherever better pastures are there, good grazing grounds are there, animals will go there.
Migrate.
So same for the human beings also. If we want to retain our youth, then we have to provide good education here, good jobs here, good employment opportunities here, good economic atmosphere here. If India prospers, there is nothing stopping it, and you will see them coming back. But at the same time, if we overcrowd people here and force them to remain here without any jobs and employment opportunities, and with the kind of economic system we are having, there is no use of that. I think it should be, we should work for making our society better. Only then we will be able to coax them to remain here. There is no use forcing them, because nobody is going to take that. As in the words of great Khalil Gibran, even the parents cannot dwell in the minds of their own children, because they are made by God and they are 40 years ahead of us.
Yeah.
So we are just arrows. They are the arrows, and we are the bows in the hands of the God. It is the Creator who is bending the bow
strings,
to just make them go way far ahead than us. But the direction only they know, because they dwell into the different realm and 21st century. So I think they should be given freedom to take their own decisions. Though no doubt your concern as an educationist is really, I really value that, because when you invest on a student for 18 years, when he is in non-productive years, you give good education, you give good food, you give good resources. But at the time the tree is ready to give fruits, then suddenly it is exported to somewhere else. As a system, it is not good. But as an individual, we cannot force anybody to remain here. It is only the systems and the economic resources which can turn the tide. And I am hopeful that time will come.
That's really praiseworthy.
So you being such an intellectual, Was it that you yourself decided to serve the countrymen, or you were told by someone to do so?
As I Bacha told earlier also, that it is the society which makes your whole psyche. Maybe my upbringing in the villages, a lower middle class family where both my parents were teachers, the bureaucracy and the kind of recognition which we are getting in the officialdom, that was the alluring factor. Had I been born in some businessman family, I would have gone for some business. So it was not forced, but yes, initial psychological makeup came up with that background, but ultimately it was my own conscious call to go for this exam and this job. And now I give that freedom to my children also to decide about their future also, though little bit here and there I keep on guiding and keep influencing them indirectly without they knowing. Like I introduced them to a lot of reading, I told them about various options which are available, I told them how humanities subjects are also equally good as science subjects are. My elder daughter has gone for humanities subjects, but ultimately it is her call to go for whatever field she decides to.
That's really kind and gives us two good feelings.
What difference do you recognize between today's youth and youth of your time?
It's fashionable always to compare. As I told in the previous answer, that each generation is different, and this universe and this whole what we say, nature is so great that each generation is great, but yes, there are differences, and we have to appreciate and at the same time enjoy the differences, because the diversity is life. If there is no change, how do we progress? No doubt, your clothes are different, your choices are different, the music you listen is different, the kind of movies you see is different, the kind of professions you choose is different. I cannot expect you to wear the bell bottoms which they were wearing in say 70s in Bobby movie. So everything keeps on changing. So you are modern girls, maybe they are wearing sarees, but like my wife is doing. But my daughters are there very, very modern. They are wearing jeans, they are wearing the skirts, or they are wearing t-shirts which is being worn by somebody in America or UK. But I appreciate that, because times are changing and so is the generation. So, but modern youth is very, very inquisitive, more informed than us. Maybe because of the information technology and because of the internet, a lot of information is coming, and it is not that they are not hardworking. Rather, they are more. They are living in more challenging times. They are living in more challenging times, and to succeed, they have to work more, because a lot of more population is coming in, and the competition is getting tougher. So they are equally smart. So they same genes. It is just a mixture of this and that, little bit change here and there, but ultimately रिश्तों का रूप बदलता है, बुनियादें खत्म नहीं होती.
In fact, because of the exposure, मुझे
So
लगता है clarity
my
of
favorite
mind.
song में एक दो जगह पहला भी I have quoted that मैं पल दो पल का शायर, पल दो पल मेरी जवानी है.
So we can
पल
have
दो
two
पल मेरी
lines.
हस्ती है. मतलब मैंने just ये कहना है ना.
Please.
हाँ, मतलब कल और आएंगे हमसे बेहतर कहने वाले, तो those who perform, हमसे बेहतर सुनने वाले, क्यों कोई मुझको याद करे, मसरूफ ज़माना मेरे लिए क्यों वक्त प्रभाव, मसरूफ बानों वेरी. ये मैंने और भी 2-3 जगह डॉक्टर्स को भी ये कोट किया था. So each generation is better than the previous one, or why should we lado or force upon to the next generation our thoughts? No doubt, teachers have to do it, parents have to do it. We can just tell them our experiences, but ultimately each generation is beautiful, and so are you.
Thank you.
ठीक है जी.
On the lighter side, sir, how do you spend? I'm sorry. On the lighter side, sir, let us know something about your family. How do you spend your spare time with them?
I have my father and I live together. Unfortunately, as I told you, I lost my mother in 2014. I have 2 daughters. My wife is a lecturer in government school here only. She is teaching history. And as I told you that my younger daughter is in 9th, elder daughter is in 11th. Like any other father, after my office hours, a peon or anybody or IS officer, like any other father, I want to spend time with my children. I watch movies with them. Sometimes I play with them also. I like to go for shopping also. But if they listen to my interview, they will say, Papa, you don't give time to us. This job keeps me very, very busy. I go very late. But whenever I get time, say at the weekends or whatever, my screen time is too much. Not many phone calls are coming. But whatever time, like any other father, I spend. I like to like during Diwali fair they had gone for a star. I help them prepare those bags and paint them and to at the same time make many handicrafts like clay modeling also. So sometimes they ask me about certain vocabulary or which book read or not to read. But now they are in a condition rather to tell me. But I like spending time with them. Sometimes we go on vacation also. So whenever I get time, though leave is an issue. I took them to many places in India. So it was Kerala, or it was Uttarakhand, or Rajasthan. We have seen many parts. Himachal we have seen many parts, many temples and other places. I like to travel, and then I took them to Europe and USA and Canada just to give them an exposure that this is not the end of the world. If they experience it at a younger age, then they take a conscious decision whether to go there or not. But it depends. Sometimes the kind of resources which I am having, I can afford that. Not everybody can. So maybe those who are richer than me, they can afford even better things. But my parents, to whatever resources they had at that time, my sphere was very, very limited. You'll be surprised to know that at the age of 20, when I was in college, I had not even gone to Delhi. So one of the college tours, when it went to Delhi, I was very, very fascinated that I saw Delhi first time at the age of 20. So after that, we went to Rajasthan for a tour. Then I was in the 21st year. So everybody has a different craft. So whenever you get time to enjoy with your family, or to travel, or to read, or to paint, or to listen to good music, or to dance, you should. And one more thing, I like gardening, and my real love is into agriculture and horticulture. Whenever I get time, I go to my farmhouse in my native village, and that is the time I really, really enjoy.
Wow.
That is the
Wow.
best thing I love. And that was the real profession I should have been. And after retirement, I will be spending time in horticulture.
That's good.
So any nostalgic moment would you like to share with us of your family?
Many beta. Still very vividly I remember first time I got scholarship in class 5th. There was exam at that time. It was at the district level. I was in the first 5 or 10 students who got that. My mother was really elated and I was so happy. Then in the class 8s also, though I was in a village school, nobody could even think of what merit is, but my name at that time was placed by Punjab School Education Board in merit list. I was somewhere around rank 170 at that time. 200 were placed in merit, and they would certain amount of scholarship. My mother was so happy. I just hugged her, gave her a tight hug. When I listened to, I couldn't even believe that I had been placed in the first 200. So even when this result for IS came. So we were awake till 2 in the night. Lot of guests coming, congratulating, media people coming. So that was another day which is etched into my memory. Last but not least, when my elder daughter was born, it was very, very great feeling. I was feeling out of the world being a parent. So that I am telling you that how your parents love you. It's a great feeling to be a parent. So these 3-4 days I always remember. The most happiest
These are
days.
something which never can be forgotten.
But nostalgic one can be on the bad days also. When I lost my mother, I felt so bad.
So,
So-
what suggestions do you like to give us to
Take up.
pursue
Be
to take the
yourself.
civil services as a career option?
what suggestion?
Yeah.
If you decide, just a minute. हाँ जी, सत श्री अकाल जी. हाँ जी, कितना है जी बच्चा? चलो, great, great. ਮੈਨੂੰ ਨਾ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦਾ ਮੈਸੇਜ ਆਇਆ ਸੀ ਸੁਬਾ, ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਵੀ ਰਿਜ਼ਲਟ ਸਾਰੇ ਬੈਟਰ ਆਏ ਨੇ, ਬੁਖਾਰ ਵੀ ਘਟਿਆ. ਮੈਂ ਦੁਬਾਰਾ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਵੀ ਕਰ ਲੈਣਾ, ਮੈਂ ਕੁਦਰਤੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਣਾ ਭੁੱਲ ਗਿਆ, ਬਿਜ਼ੀ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਸਵੇਰੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਮੈਸੇਜ. ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪੇਟ ਦਾ ਟੈਸਟ ਸੀਗਾ ਉਹ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਠੀਕ ਆਇਆ.